Why, hello, I'm Teen Psychiatrist, and what we have planned for today's video is that we're going to go over some mental illnesses that you might be going through in your everyday life. So as for that, we're going to continue on with the video, and I hope you sit back, enjoy, and have a great time. Let's get to it. Now, first off, we all know that mental illnesses are not something to be fond with. They're something that everybody goes through every day, and they're a serious issue. Not only are they not to be fondled with, but most of the time, you don't even realize when somebody has a mental illness, or some emotions that they might be going through. Now, with that statement there, that does not mean go over and poke at somebody to go and find out, like, hey, do you have a mental illness? Definitely when you go and you start a conversation, especially when you're going and meeting somebody for the first time, do not come straight out and ask if they have a mental illness, or what they are going through, their emotions that they're experiencing at home or in their life. You'd want to start the conversation off respectfully. First start off and getting to know each other, take some little baby steps, and then eventually when they come out and tell you personally, that's when you want to go and start asking questions. Then again, when it comes to questions, you don't want to overload them and overwhelm them. Actually, from my own personal experiences, myself, I don't like it when people come up and pry to me and try to go and get out just what I'm going through and ask me loads of questions. So just remember, keep in mind that if you do go and encounter somebody that they are going through depressive thoughts per se, do not go and pry into that. A lot of the times, what people are going through aren't really classified as a mental illness. Most of the times it's brought on by anxiety and stress. As for our main topic of the video today, though, we are going to be going over some of the mental illnesses that you or others may be going through at home or in your everyday life. Things such as depressive thoughts, suicidal tendencies, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, anger issues, eating disorders, insomnia, bullying, and harassment. Now, yes, I know there is tons more from where that came from, but just going and getting a generalized outlook of what we really will be covering in this channel, and what you can go and you can come to me to talk about in the comments section, or anything just overall. Now, what I want to do with this channel is basically go and make it into a subscriber-led channel. So if you suffer from anything that I just got done listing off, if you could go and you could leave a comment in the comment section below and list off what you are going through. And depending on what I go and get the most for the first time, I can go and I can release a video on how to go and cope with that, and my own remedies and methods of how to go and get through the day if you are suffering through that. I, myself, am currently suffering from depression, PTSD, and very, very high anxiety, and some insomnia. Now with that, please do not overload me with questions with anything about my personal life. This is more about you and what you're going through, and my ability to go and help you get through that, and I hope you understand. Now we all know that depression, anxiety, loads more, are a very, very, very big part of the world today, and a part of the community, especially with the amount of so-called freedom that we have to be able to go and express ourselves, and the just all the diversity out there. What I want to go and start with is that this channel is a judgment-free zone. When it comes to wanting to help people, and when it comes and going and putting forth my opinion and my efforts to go and help people, I've had to go and take a big step to learn not to judge people for what they have or what they're going through and who they are. Not only does negative criticism and judging somebody for who they are add more onto their plate, add more depression, more stress, it's just not good all around. I don't think if somebody were to come up to you and criticize you based on what you were doing or what you were going through, you would not really like it. As for that, with this channel, I want to go and just make it this huge judgment-free zone where you can come out, you can unload, and you can talk about whatever issues that you're coming down with. Also, one thing, when it comes to being a psychiatrist, what I've learned about so far is you definitely don't want to be biased in an issue. My personal opinion doesn't really matter in the fact, it's just me going and trying to reach out and help you in the best way I can. That also goes around with the criticism and judgment. Much of the world's confrontation today is, a lot has started on confrontation. It's much started on people going and arguing over a particular subject, which is to be expected. Everybody's going to have their arguments and their disputes, but it's when it's deemed unhealthy, in which actually it's you and the other person is when they deem it unhealthy. And what I mean by that is that if it's starting to affect your relationship with that person and it is starting to get more negative than an actual friendly argument, that's when it needs to stop. The same thing goes for bullying and harassment and depression, suicidal thoughts, anxiety, anything that goes above in those categories and many more. When something is starting to affect you negatively, rather than the positive intake that you originally wanted to go and get from that, then that's when it's time to stop. There's no point in holding on to something if it is really negatively impacting you. Now, as with that, don't take my words too strongly and just drop everything that goes and sort of goes and negatively impacts you. That would be a bad idea. The thing that actually comes with negative intake is a lot of learning and a lot of knowledge. Now, what I'm trying to go and say is that with that knowledge, rather than going and taking everything and taking the knowledge of, oh, I don't matter anymore, or oh, and take them in and put them into more negative thoughts, such things as self-harm, utilize that knowledge that you had just got and use it to carry on. Reflect on what had just happened. Learn from your mistakes and learn from the mistakes that other people had made. Going through an ungodly amount of experiences that I've gone through, that is definitely one thing that I've had to learn. Now with that, it's always going to be different for everybody. Everybody's got something else on their plate, and not everybody goes through the same thing that everybody has. Everybody's a little bit indifferent. So don't expect to get the answers to what you're trying to go through, what you are going through, and the problems that you are currently experiencing now. Because nothing comes through so easily. You're always going to have to put forth a little bit of effort, and you're always going to have to do a little bit of learning along the way. As for me, it took me years to go and figure out what I was searching for, and even then it's not a so-called answer, because there's no real answers to what life is and what we're doing in life. When it comes to a purpose, your purpose is defined by you, nobody else. The words said are just labels, given power by our reactions. So don't let anybody go in to define your purpose of who you are and what you choose to be. That goes for harassment of people calling you ugly, people calling you fat, overweight, underweight. All of those adjectives, all of those are just words going to describing their opinion of you. But that's not your definitive opinion of yourself. As again, utilize that knowledge of the mistakes that they had made and the mistakes you have made, and put forth the amount of effort that you can to go and find that so-called purpose or answer that you were looking for. Don't take it all down on you, because what I can assure you now is that you are definitely not alone. As much as you may think you are, there's always, out of the 7 billion people in this world, there's always going to be somebody who cares about you. And there's always going to be somebody that's going to stick up and work their ass off to go and help you in the best way they can. Now, wrapping that up, there's so much more I'd like to go and get through in this one video, but I've got a whole channel to go and get through where I can go and cover all of that. So thank you so much for listening to this, and I'll see you guys in the next episode, next video.